I'm going to start with a video. Can y'all hear it okay in the back?
Hey, I'm excited to talk today about how AI is transforming our business. Me and my teams is significantly improving how we do our jobs and the quality of the results we achieve. My name is Chris Johnson. I lead the daily planning team and the condition-based maintenance team here at Plant Berry and supporting the Berry fleet. As far as the condition-based maintenance team, they're responsible for monitoring the health of the equipment, which involves collecting and managing the data from that monitoring. They identify the causes of issues and they determine the necessary steps to correct those issues. AI helps planners by allowing them to do the same and similar type of work, which builds a more efficient work schedule. It allows them insights into historical information on equipment and the past preventative and work that is required to correct the issue identified. All in all, I'm ready to see where these AI advancements take my team and the rest of the plant.
I'm Brianna Bird, and I'm an E&I team leader at Plant Berry. One of the coolest things about generative AI is its ability to summarize documents. With AI, we can generate summaries that zero in on the key points, saving us time for more important things. Procedure development is another area where AI shines. Creating clear and effective procedures is vital for our operations. Generative AI can analyze our current procedures, find bottlenecks, and suggest ways to improve them, ensuring everything runs smoothly. Additionally, training with digital twins allows us to simulate and refine these procedures in a virtual environment before implementation, minimizing risk and optimizing efficiency. However, it's crucial to remember the importance of human interaction and proofreading for validation. AI isn't always correct, and human oversight ensures accuracy and reliability. From scheduling meetings and managing emails to generating detailed reports, generative AI helps with many administrative tasks, boosting our productivity and efficiency.
I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the cool things we're doing at Plant Berry in the world of AI and technology advancement. While the benefits of generative AI are great and transformative, it is essential to acknowledge the risks associated with its use. For example, privacy and security. The use of AI requires access to a large amount of data, secure data, and so that could pose a significant risk if not managed correctly. Secondly, accountability and reliability. In order to maintain the integrity of the information being provided by AI, it's important to have human interaction to be able to verify and validate the information that's being provided. And lastly, from a perspective of ethical compliance, it's important as we go down this path of use of AI and other technologies that we follow the ethical standards that have been laid out. So if we recognize these risks and address them early on, that's when we can truly harness the full power and benefit of AI in the work that we do, and then we can continue to act on the promises that we've made and commitments we've made by providing safe, clean, reliable, and affordable power to our customers for years to come. Thank you.
All right, so hopefully you all got to hear most of that. My name's Tom Cihota. I'm the fuels manager at Plant Berry and supporting the Berry fleet. So we've got Washington County Cogen up in McIntosh, and then Theodore Cogen down in Theodore, Alabama as well. And a big part of my responsibilities in my role is to find technology, specifically utilizing AI to help improve us in the way we do business currently today and prepare us for the technologies of the future. So why do we care? Why are we interested? Well, Southern Company, Alabama Power, Southern Company as a whole, has had strong core goals for several years, and that is to provide safe, clean, reliable, and affordable power. And so if you think about efficiency, you think about being able to optimize processes, being able to minimize downtime, turnover, things like that. You're basically able to lower the cost to your customers, which achieves our goals. So you'll hear me talk about this through the presentation, where I'll kind of circle back to the main reasons why we're doing these things. And then I want to talk about what we're doing today. Some of the technologies that you saw are not new technologies. They've been around for a while, but want to emphasize the importance of doing those right and getting the foundations right, because as the new technology, someone said it earlier, as the new technologies come out, if you're feeding it bad information, you're going to get garbage out. So being able to do well in those areas that we have access to today is going to be vital to making sure that we're successful in the future. So some of the technologies in the present, can you see this okay? All right. So you saw on the video, one of our electricians was walking through the plant, went up to a 600 volt breaker bus and clicked on it with his iPad, and basically a video came up where there was a training video that we made that showed how to rack out that particular breaker, rack it back in, etc. So imagine that everywhere in the plant, where I can walk through and not just see a training video before I actually execute the task, but now I got P&IDs, I got control narratives, I got drawings, procedures, lotto standards, lockout tagout standards, and all that stuff readily available at my fingertips, so that I can successfully do my job. Well, what does that do? That ties back to safety, right? Like if I'm constantly going out in the field and I maybe haven't performed a specific task in years, and I'm it's not as fresh on my mind as I'd like it to be, how cool would that be to just pull that up? How many times y'all watch YouTube? I want to change an air filter out of my car, or I want to figure out how to change this valve in my shower. So we use it all the time. How do we implement it in our industry? And so that's kind of what the digital twin is allowing us to do from that perspective. So CBM, condition-based maintenance, again, you all probably use it in your areas as well. It's not an old technology, but I will say in recent years, the instrumentation and the way to collect the data and all this cloud-based computing has made that information more readily available quicker. And so you saw the thermography and the vibration monitoring. Well, what that has allowed us to do is that allows us to now feed that information into advanced pattern recognition softwares. Southern Company has this group called the Monitoring and Diagnostics Center in Birmingham, and all the operating assets feed this control room, and they're able to build models and use APR software to predict deviations from the model. It's not, it's read only, so there's no control aspect from it. It's just taking information and being able to analyze it and make predict potential issues based off of model deviations. So that's something that we're doing today as well. And then there's the work management process, and that's when I say work management, that's scheduling the work to be executed. So we have electricians, operators, mechanics that are all assigned certain tasks throughout the day, and what we are working in parallel with the digital twin and the training, and we're looking at alarm management. We're using generative AI to build a model outside of our work management process, because it's not quite there yet, but we have AI, so like a Southern Company version of ChatGPT. It's called AI Assist. We're able to feed it a bunch of information. We're pulling standards, we're pulling O&M manuals, we're pulling a bunch of stuff, and it's learning, and it's saying, okay, well, based off of this work order description, this asset location, this previous, the last time this work was completed, and the information in the log, we can export all that into like an Excel file, right, and then dump it into the ChatGPT, and it'll say, hey, there's a pretty good probability that these two jobs might be similar. So you might want to put it in your work schedule to group these together, similar tools, similar inventory parts, similar, et cetera. So you're creating efficiencies in that world as well. And so that process is heavy underway. I mentioned alarm management as well. I don't know if y'all are familiar, if y'all utilize alarm management, but operators will sit at a control system and they'll just get pinged with, hey, temperatures, pressures, whatever. And you really want the operator to see the things that they have to immediately respond to. Otherwise, the rest is just noise. Because if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority, right? And so the way we're trying to utilize AI, and we got a separate kind of side thing that we're working there, is we have an alarm rationalization document that says, if it's a safety related, or if it's a environmental compliance, or if it's a reliability type issue, then it needs to be prioritized this way. So that's a set of rules, right? That's a coding problem, right? That's not really where you need the AI. Where you need the AI is to help speed up the process of identifying, well, what level of safety is it? What level of environmental is it? And that's where you pull in the OSHA standards and all the environmental standards, and you train it to look at different pieces of information. Then it can help you prioritize alarms as well, which is when you got one unit and 80,000 alarms per unit, it takes a long time to go through that whole process. So that's another way where you can optimize that. So the generative AI piece at the very end, that's what we're using a lot where we're using generative AI in our business today, is trying to simplify and streamline the processes that we're all sitting in a room and trying to subjectively look at it with 5 or 6 people and say, hey, I think that's an alarm rationalization 1, 3, or 2, and these are just levels, right? So 1, 3, 2, 3, whatever, and you can get AI to help spit that out a lot quicker. So any questions about any of that up to this point? Okay, so that's again not new technology. That's been around for this APR stuff's been around for my entire career. It's getting more efficient. It's getting easier accessible. We've got thousands of models built in that area. But what we're trying to do now is go to the next step. And so some images that you saw from the video. I won't spend a whole lot of time on that. But so for the future, right? Like, I want to emphasize the importance of making sure that what we do today is going to prepare us for tomorrow. So you saw the digital twin. I talked a little bit about what our ultimate goal was to put every piece of information that you could possibly feed into that digital twin to make the information readily accessible, right? But the information you get out of it has got to be good. Like, you can't feed it garbage and expect anything better. So it starts with the foundation, and that's asset management. And we use the term, it's a D11 standard. You probably all have something similar in your organization, but the D11 standard is like it's a 16 digit name or asset identifier that goes to a specific piece of equipment. And if you get that asset identifier done correctly, it can feed all different information, all different pieces of softwares and other pieces of information that you can utilize in your AI. So if you get your asset management piece right, and you have correct identifiers, correct asset level information, then you can start feeding your models, and you can start organizing that information so that it's correct. And then at that point, you can feed your AI software the right information and hopefully get the best information out. So that's what we're focusing on here in current months is trying to get that asset level information fine-tuned. And that's a manual process. Who all has show of hands, who all has dealt with like asset identification and asset management? So there's a lot of manual effort that goes into making sure it's right. And when you have a lot of folks that are able to work in that area, a lot of it can get manipulated incorrectly, right? And so being able to ensure that piece is right takes time, takes a good amount of effort, and then ultimately you can get what you want out of it. So, but that's where we are. So going forward, emphasizing the importance of a strong foundation in asset management, asset information, and ultimately being able to utilize AI in certain parts of the business. I talked about work management, talked about alarm management. One thing that we're looking at is how do we now implement it in operations, right? How do we do the operations or the process control utilizing this deep reinforcement learning or AI technology, similar to what AI ops folks have talked about, and being able to piece all these different areas together ultimately will make our entire operations more efficient and function. So you get all that stuff in parallel. You got to leverage the new technologies. You got to be able to identify, be willing to try different things. You said it earlier, right? Don't be afraid to try something in the current, even though you might not be using it in the future, because you don't know what you don't know. And if there's an idea out there, I think you'd be doing your company, your industry, you'd be doing a disservice if you didn't at least vet it to the fullest, because I mean, you can't say it's not worthwhile if you haven't tried it. Now there's certain risks that you got to be willing to accept and certain areas that you want to try it, but I think you got to look into it. And then you got to educate your employees to make sure that everyone's traveling on the same path forward. If we got different people trying to achieve different goals, then it does put a hinder on the process and the direction that we're going. So training and educating people on the new technologies and giving them the necessary tools to be successful in that world is an important thing. And then that'll help us at the end achieve our goals of safe, clean, and reliable and affordable power. So that's all I have. Any questions? Okay, thank you.